Alright, what's up YouTube? As the title of the video suggests, intelligence is a lie. Or the idea of what intelligence is defined as is a lie. Um, so how do we measure intelligence? We measure it through different forms. There's emotional intelligence, spatial awareness intelligence, right? Social intelligence, right? And then there's pattern recognition, which is the main form, like the STEM industry, like math, chemistry, physics, right? That's what we base IQ off of, like the intelligent quotient, right? And we kind of disregard emotional intelligence and all the others. I heard they're like 6 or something, or 8. You can just make one up, and that's how silly it is. And yeah, so what we do is we give children, right, from across the world. We go and give children these these like pictures and diagrams, right, without words, and we go and say, okay, based on these three, what's the next pattern, right, or what should be the next in the sequence. If you've ever taken a IQ test, you you'd understand, or something similar. You'd understand what I'm talking about, right? This is a fucking lie, all right? This is a lie everybody's been fed. I think we want to be told that we can benchmark our own minds, but in reality, that's not the case, right? It's so much of a lie that institutions like Mensa go out and give rating numbers of famous famous historical figures like Einstein or Newton, right? When they never even took the fucking test. They say based on what we know, based on his theorems and the work that we have left, we can say roughly Albert Einstein had an intelligent quotient or IQ score of 162. What kind of fucking bullshit is this? You can't numerically quantify someone's mind, okay? It's so stupid, right? And why is it stupid? Why am I laughing, right? It's because we don't understand how the mind works at all. We don't. We can map it out, say, okay, here's the thalamus, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex, right? Here's the brainstem. Here's this. We can go and divvy it up by hemispheres. We can go and do all this type of little procedures and say, okay, if we tinker with this, memory goes, and if we tinker with that, touch goes. We can, you know, map it out, right? But there is no way. There is no fucking way we understand how the brain works to such a degree that I can compare one brain to another. It's a black box. And that's something that the current scientific institution doesn't want to admit. It's a black box. I don't know how the brain works. We don't know why Alzheimer's happens. We don't know why people have Parkinson's disease. We don't understand all of these neurological deficiencies like Down syndrome, autism, all this kind of stuff. We don't understand how they occur, why they occur, what parts are lackluster, what parts aren't, and we don't understand how the brain even computes what it does. We don't even have a full map of the brain. They're saying, and you're like, come on, no, they actually do. Look it up. Look it up. This is a video where you have to fucking trust me, bro. Otherwise, do your research, and then if you have a fucking rebuttal, go and comment it, because I'm telling you, right now they're trying to make a 3D model and render a 3D model of someone's brain using artificial intelligence where they can just, based off of certain patterns, we can just copy and paste, and this is probably the brain structure. We don't fucking understand how it works. People are saying now our brain uses quantum mechanics to store information, and that's where the soul is. I swear to God, I can show you videos on it if you want to. If you want to test me, right? We don't understand how it works. We don't understand where the soul is, right? We don't understand. So let's just move on from that. It's a black box, okay? The brain is truly a black box. If we understood how it worked, we would replicate it in a lab, right? With the scientific method. This is my hypothesis. Okay, how can you substantiate it? Show a proven test. You can't show a proof, so it's not reputable. It's not a given. I'm sorry, your hypothesis is still premature. Okay, this is not something you can just move on from and then start medicating people and saying, okay, well, this kid is a little bit more hyper than the rest. It must be because he has this type of syndrome. How the fuck do you know where's the constant? Show me one healthy brain that you can go and base all other healthy brains off of. So people say, oh, I want to have 1 kilogram of sugar. I'm gonna be like, that's not a kilogram, right? I don't agree with your unit of measure. We could go to France and go and see where a kilogram where everybody bases a kilogram off of. There's a fucking weight over there, and yeah, we have a standard, right? We have a standard for languages, right? A word, I don't agree with that word. We could go into semantic hell, but then we go and say based off of the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, based off of the Oxford dictionary, right? This is the word, and then that ends the dispute, right? Wait, show me the brain, like the unit of measure, right, for the brain where you can't, okay, where you can go and gauge and benchmark the proficiency of one user to another, and then say that's an IQ and that's an actual meter that should be respected and have authority. It doesn't, okay? It's a fucking scam, all right? So the mind is a black box, and intelligence is immeasurable, right? And just to put into scale how complex the brain is, right? Mark Zuckerberg, right, went and said to power AI and take it to the next level, to something comparable to AGI, right? You would need the power of a small sun to fuel deep learning research, or deep learning models, like for these language models. You'll need, in order to process all of that and to even get a prompt out of something with billions of parameters. If you understand how language models work, there are certain models that are like 1 billion parameters and they can be run on your phone locally, right? Then there are other models that have like 12 billion parameters that can be run on a laptop, maybe, depending on how much RAM you have. And then there's other models where you need server rooms, where there are 128 billion parameters, where there's 500 billion parameters, and then these server rooms, right? It takes a lot of energy, like electricity, and for it to not have latency and all, that's why we pay subscription prices for like models like from OpenAI and the rest, like Anthropic. That's the reason why, right? So to have a model that would have a million parameters, a million billion parameters, or whatever the fucking word is, like a quadrillion, let's say, right? A quintillion, I think that's what it is, right? To have something with 1 quintillion parameters that's comparable to the human mind, right? It would need the power of a mini sun. So what I'm getting at is the human brain, do you know how much energy it needs to do a comparable task? It only needs a few thousand calories, right? It only needs a few thousand calories, a little bit of minerals, a little bit of fat, and some water, and that's it. And it works like a fucking charm. And is your brain being cooked alive like like a mini sun? Is it hot? No, it's room temperature. It's actually kind of cold, right? Look at this. A fucking gorilla or a rat has a more complex structure, like neurologically speaking, all their neurological pathways than your famous fucking computer that beat chess with all those transistors in it. I'll take a fucking rat before I take that. Because what is a computer and what is a language model to begin with? It's just a search engine. It takes in a lot of input, and based off of probability, based off of like they tokenize the input, right? And then they go based off each token. They go and say, well, it's most likely to the next letter in the sequence will be a vowel, and this vowel would most likely be an A, and then he spells out the word. That's how it thinks. But for you, you take figments of places, and you have these. You take the human mind for granted, people. That's basically what I'm saying. Um, we are insanely efficient, and we don't know how it works as well. Either. Okay. Otherwise, we would replicate it and create life, right? Or not even create life, but harness it. If we could, we would put we would create a computer with or with 3D organically printed brains, and that would be the processor for our computers. I swear to God, that would be the most efficient processor ever. And you know how much fucking use you can get out of that, right? And another thing, everybody has, and and you'd be like, okay, well, a computer can retrieve information very fast, right? At light speed, and it's not like it'll ever forget, right? Maybe the file, you'll forget where the file is, but the file is stored somewhere in the computer. Your brain is the same way. Actually, it is one to one the same way. Why? Electricity moves in light speed. Okay, one. All right, it moves in light speed. Why? Because light itself is the type of matter it is. It's electromagnetic. It's it is light. Electricity is light. Magnetism is light. It's just in a different form. Okay? So because your brain works at light speed, right? Or the transfer rate, should say, works at it sends information in light speed. It's just as fast at retrieval speed as a computer using electricity, because it uses the same thing, right? The same medium, it uses electricity, right? Another thing, the thing about your brain is just comparable to a computer. You never lose your memories. You can't lose your memories. It's impossible. Every memory is an impression in your brain. Okay, there are certain pathways that are excited. Okay, and there the brain, because you consistently use this certain pathway signature over and over and over, it starts lubricating it with more fat, and it becomes easier for you to access that structure. That, let's say, this neuron pings to that neuron and to this third one, and then you do it again and you do it again. It's gonna strengthen the bonds between those three neurons, and then it'll be easier to retrieve it, and then it won't even take as much effort as before, right? So let's say you read this book only once, or not read, you've seen this picture only once, like the face of a murderer. You've seen him only once as a passerby, right? I can access that memory. Because there is an impression in your brain, I can access that memory, even if you forgot it, and you can too. right? And you like, what's an example of this? Well, you've had loads of dreams, right? In your dreams, the rash the sense of reasoning is gone, but the memories, your your visualization, your imagine is still active, right? Like you're living your dreams, but you just have no reason, and because you have no reason, it doesn't snap you out of the dream. You can have six fingers and be walking upside down, and you won't like get spooked or anything, and then leave your dream because you have no reasoning, right? You have millions of dreams that you have, or thousands of dreams throughout your life, right? The dream you had last night, you forgot it, right? There, you're probably thinking you forgot many things, right? But there you are taking a shower, and you see the shampoo bottle, and it reminds you, well, I had a shampoo bottle in my dream, and in my dream, I was actually in a shampoo universe, and there were bubbles and a bubble, and then it's like sparks a chain of memories, and then the dream comes flashing back to you. That's what it is. The memories are there, okay? It's just weak. It's just weak to access, but it's all there. Every single thing you've ever experienced throughout your entire life is embedded somewhere in your brain. And that's where like hypnosis, sleeper agents, MK Ultra, that's where these things come to light. It's because I can go and break the chain forever, right? It'll still be there. Like for example, like smoking. I can make it so you don't. It'll make you you'll be opposed to smoking. You'll remember smoking. You'll remember all the times you have. But I can just alter your 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 idea of it, and then you'll never want to smoke again, right? Or you forgot the face of your mother, right? And you want to remember her voice. I can, as a hypnotist, reach in and find that for you, right? I can't get into detail how they do it because I honestly don't understand myself. But the mind is so powerful. It is so powerful, right? There is there's no deletion. Like there's no trash folder in your brain. Like everything is fucking there. All the files, all the search history, everything you fucking seen, everything you ever witnessed, everything you ever felt and tasted, they're encoded in your brain. It's just accessing like it hasn't been strengthened, right? Like and that's where active recall and spaced repetition, that's where it comes in regarding like studying tools. But if I had watched the lecture once, I and I'm taking the test and I'm stumped. I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know the answer for this question, right? You actually do know the answer. You can't retrieve it. That's what I'm saying. It's a retrieval issue. It's not a not knowing issue. Okay, so your brain, one, is a black box. No human can tell you with certainty this is how it works. All right, and it's not measurable. All right, show me a unit of measure. IQ is not is not a acceptable unit of measure, right? And it's super efficient, more so efficient than anything we've ever seen. It is the most efficient tool in the entire universe, right? And everybody has photographic memory. Everybody has like, you see what I'm saying? So this is where it comes down to talent and hard work. Okay, like what do you do with this information now that you know your brain is you're basically like you're super meta human. You're like you have like superpowers almost, right? What do you do with it, right? Every oh, and one thing before I get into that, right? I said autism and Down syndrome and all these kind of stuff were ailments or illnesses or stuff. Bro, Albert Einstein and many of the fucking people that excel in arts and crafts and STEM and anything, right? They're savants. They're autistic. But we look at them as they're deficient. We don't fucking understand what the brain is or how it works. And then we go and label you're inferior, you're superior based on outwardly appearance. But in reality, what if the nonverbal autists are actually fucking geniuses? Like, they just they have like terrible motor skills and they can't fucking speak, and they're not like functioning in terms of our society, but inside they're going like times a million, times 1,000, like 100 miles per hour. They're going in their head. You don't even we can't confirm nor deny, anything really when it comes to that, right? Albert Einstein was thrown aside. You're a fucking retard. That's what they called him, you know. And look where he is now. He created general relativity, and he's known as the smartest man of all time, right? Elon Musk is a fucking retard or autist, right? Are we gonna count him out? Are we gonna count any autist out? You're probably autistic. You're probably better than me at shit at some things, right? That is strength, bro. Like when you're interviewing people, and this is a silliness of it, right? When you're interviewing clients or potential like employees, you try to go and look for behavioral questions, and you know, is he the right fit? Is he the right culture fit? Is he your right teammate? Is he this? Is he that? Bro, the autist has fucking weird tics that he can't even like. He doesn't even function properly, honestly. Like when it comes into the workplace. But if you want to excel and actually go far and beyond, you'll hire a bunch of autists that are like incredible in their job. Hey, bro, you'll beat the competition. But people don't understand. They think if you're not normal, if you're not like the rest, right? If you're not in the average of the bell curve, if you're not a midwit, at least, that's what I'm trying to say, you are an undesirable, right? If the majority of humans had 3 eyes and you were born with 2, you would be seen as an undesirable, right? So like it doesn't fucking. They don't know what they don't even know that in the genome, humans historically had 2 eyes, and you're actually normal, because the average human has 3 eyes now because of radiation and shit like that. You're actually the weirdo. Like what the fuck? Like that's what the autist has to deal with. So get rid of all of the constructs that you're born with. Like when it comes to intelligence, like you're actually way smart, and they don't want you to know you're smart. They don't want you to know you have the capability. Like no AI can ever replace you. It's fucking impossible for an AI to. All right, and this is where it comes down to like talent and hard work, right? I had an article I wanted to show. So they had a bunch of kids, right? Let me full screen this. They had a bunch of kids, and they told them whether they're smart or talented, right? So here's a nonverbal IQ test. Half of the kids were initially praised for their performance and their intelligence. The other half were praised for their effort. And although I'm sure that the kids who were praised for success and their appearing genius felt good about this feedback, it led to serious problems down the road. When asked what they'd like to work on next, the kids who'd been praised for their ability chose to do a task that they thought would make them look smart over a task that they believed would give them a chance to learn something new. These kids who had been praised for being intelligent also gave up on other tasks when it became difficult. Does that sound familiar? Well, worse yet, kids who were told they were smart lied about their performance when they had a chance to tell other people how they had it done. In contrast, alright, before I move on, right? If I pamper you and tell you you're smart, blah, 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 like if I tell you based off the Mensa scores and all that kind of stuff, you have a high IQ, you're actually gonna excel in life. You're actually worse off. You're actually way worse off, right? All those I swear to God, I saw a YouTube video. This is what started this. I saw a YouTube video where this guy was talking about, yeah, those people with less than 2 standard deviations of intelligence from center. What the fuck you talking about, bro? Bro, you ever seen the bell curve meme where there's like the idiot and the genius, and they were on the same page, and the midwit is in the middle looking like a fucking idiot? The real idiot is the midwit, guys. That's what I'm saying. Because what we're doing is we're putting autists at the left side, and we're putting hard workers at the right side. Okay, and then you got the mediocre man, the midwit in the middle, trying to fucking appear at like he's a hard worker when in reality he's not. And he, I don't know, bro. It, you look around, right, and you see people trying to appear smarter than they actually are. They try to appear stronger than they actually are. They're trying to appear prettier than they actually are. It's like the autist doesn't give a. The autist has stains on his fucking shirt, okay, and he plays with Lego pieces. But he looks at your fucking homework and he can blaze through it, and you call him a fucking idiot, a retard, right? And then the guy that actually puts in hard effort and isn't really like bright in terms of IQ scores, but because he puts in the hard work, it's not talent, it's hard work, right? He goes through and because of active recall and spaced repetition and all of the fucking study techniques, he just blazes through it, and you're left as a midwit saying, well, you know, this guy has a deformed face and this guy has no fucking life. So blah blah blah. Like the midwit, bro, we're the normie. That's another word for it. The fucking normie. We're dealing with a lot of normies here. Okay. Um, In contrast, kids who have been praised for their effort, rather than their ability to choose future tasks that would allow them to learn more, rather than to look good, right? They were growth oriented in a sense. They also persisted on a future task when it got difficult, so they persevered, right? In times of adversity. In fact, they outperformed the kids who had received praise for their intelligence when both the groups worked on routine tasks that followed a very difficult task, right? Based on these studies, the researcher concluded that parents, coaches, and teachers should reward their children of all ages for their efforts rather than their performances. If I am told I have an IQ of 155 or something, that's like a prison almost, you know? I'm gonna try to validate that, right? By like these kids are saying they're gonna try to validate it because they choose to do tests that would make them look smart over a test that they believe would give them a chance to learn, right? I would be chasing. I would also have imposter syndrome, right? I'll be like something must be up, right? Or maybe if you have a large ego, you'd be like, actually, yeah, I am the fucking smartest in this room, and it's like an anchor to your feet. Like you're gonna sink. Everybody is gonna want to learn, you know. So, and you're just gonna be left behind, all right? So, all in all, right? Don't compare the next man, okay? Don't compare him, cause what are you comparing him with? You have no basis for a comparison. I can't say this guy is dumber than me and this guy's. I swear, bro. People go and say learning Portuguese, learning Spanish, learning Chinese is hard, right? They go and say it's a hard language, and that if I speak an Anglo language or a Romance language or right Oriental language, the distance between grammar and syntax makes it harder for bro. You can go and find bilingual fucking kids in in America or any multicultural country, and they speak both languages. I swear to God, I've seen Nigerians, right? There's a lot of Nigerian immigrants in Japan. They speak both their language, maybe it's like Igbo or something or Yoruba. They speak that language and they speak Japanese, and they're on totally opposite sides of the language tree, right? Are completely separate language families. They have no loan words, you know. And the guy is a fucking, and you would see him as an idiot, bro. This guy, there's no excuses, okay? You can't learn Portuguese because you don't have it. You don't put the effort in. It's not because of some. It's not because you respond in with the wrong brain or something. Your brain is actually way more efficient and way more reliable than any computer anywhere. Okay. The fucking and the idiots will go and tell me in the comments probably, right? If I ever have comments. Oh, you're well. There are certain computers that humans can never beat in chess and the like. Bro, what makes you think that's intelligence again, right? That's not intelligent at all, right? All it's doing is mapping every fucking possible scenario and choosing the right one for that decision. It doesn't intrinsically like understand the game of chess and like you do, okay? It quite literally just maps every possible solution, you know? If we had that scope, we wouldn't so because we weren't evolved to have scope like that, right? It would still not be a fair fight, right? It's like how to explain it. It's like we're hammers. They're screwdrivers, okay? Or something. Like we are or no, what's more important what's a better example is like we don't just mass memorize and then just spit out the best answer. We don't do that. We think based off of like logical steps forwards, you know? Like if you ever seen DeepSeek R1, like the reasoning model, like he says, okay, well, this is the particular answer and based on that context. These fucking AIs don't have no context whatsoever. They don't know what they're saying. They're just spitting out and getting lucky. They're quite literally the scenario where if you had like a chimpanzee on a typewriter, he'll eventually write Shakespeare. That's what a fucking computer, chess computer is, you know? Is it just because the fucking chimpanzee got Shakespeare correctly doesn't mean he's any better than other chimpanzees that's still writing gibberish. Like I was just fucking because of the scope, you know. That was because he had enough time. So these computers, just their scope is just massive, right? But it's not efficient at all. If you ever seen those chess computers, they take up entire warehouses. You get what I'm saying? You go and ask Grok, oh, is this real Grok? And he fucking lie to you, and he has the whole scope of the internet, and he'll still give you the wrong answer. You're telling if that's you're telling me that's smarter than me, or you. That's a fucking lie, guys. You don't believe that shit, okay? So you truly hunker down and understand, right? Take accountability in the fact that you have all the tools you need because you're human, right? You are truly blessed with the most like if I were to say, okay, you can live tomorrow, you're gonna die, right? Or actually no, you have the choice to either uh sell your eyes for $1 billion or keep your eyes. You'll never sell your eyes, okay? The gifts you have, right? Your eyesight, your brain, your skin, right? Maybe you have blemishes, but imagine those people with their lips ripped off because of fucking freak accidents or acid or burns. You have you have so many like blessings. People just throw that aside. And you know what people do instead? To still exercise the brain, right? They go and play like real-time strategy games and stuff like that. Bro, there's a whole real-time strategy game in front of you. What the fuck? You want to play Civilization 6, or you want to play um Europa Universalis 4? Go and fucking do that in real life. You fucking idiot. This is a game theory. This is a whole game right here in front of us. You want to play in Iron Man mode where you can't rewind and you can't go forward? That sounds like fucking real life. I'm sorry, okay? You want to play Hearts and Iron 4? Go and work your way up in the military and go over there and become a fucking commander and lieutenant and go and just throw up battalions in different places and learn war theory. Go ahead. It's right there for you. Go to Ukraine. Go enlist in Ukraine. They'll take you. All right. If you want to go and fight. So there's no fucking excuse to sit on your ass, okay? Oh, I don't got enough power. You based off what? What metric? So there's no excuse. Go ahead and do it. It just stems from my last video. You have a dream, right? The future is chaotic. You don't know what the future lies in. It's in a superposition. That's what I was trying to say last video. The future is in a superposition, and your decisions collapse it. Okay, like right here, Arthur Morgan. He's chasing. What if a huge car comes and rams in him? You don't know. It's the future. So you have every tool you need to go and conquer that future. You just don't have the effort in it. You quite literally have to be like David Goggins in this sense. Like you have to put in effort, like those kids, right? You have to face adversity, right? They persisted on a future task when it got difficult. You don't want it enough, guys. You don't want it enough. All right? Lock in. You have the brain for it. You have the brain power. Okay? If you're not on if you're not hooked up to an iron lung and you're not in like if you don't have all your fingers or something, or you're like you're incapable, like okay, I get it, right? But they got Neuralink chips coming out where you can fucking talk to a computer through your mind. They got bionic arms where you can fucking have fingers again. There is no excuse. You can do it, bro. Like what the fuck? You you're literally a waste of breath and space. You shouldn't have been born if you don't want to go and feel motivated, right? And next video will be about how motivation's a lie. But please, intelligence and measuring intelligence quotients, IQ scores, the attitude we have against autism and the fucking idiocy of midwits. I hope you realize intelligence is a lie.